All right, we are live.
Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone. Today, we are talking about Mockingjay, the third book in the Hunger Games series. Oh, this book killed me.
Oh yeah.
Like I knew that it would.
It's pretty for you, isn't it, Emma? Like you just finished it.
Yeah, I almost started crying at the epilogue.
Oh yeah.
I think because like it usually doesn't get to me as much, but I think because I literally read like half the book this morning, it's like seeing all the horrible stuff that happened like in one sitting, and then having the epilogue like be such like a little bright moment. I was just like all in my feels.
Yeah. I literally, like, I think I've tweeted about it 1,000 times, but I was like sobbing through the last 10 minutes of the audiobook, and I've never done that before. I was just like, as soon as Peter got back, I was like, I'm just like,
I know.
For the rest of it.
Okay, well, do you want to go? We can go through and say how we felt about this reread of it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Okay. Sorry, that was me.
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
I listened to the audiobook again because it was so good. I really liked it. I don't remember the first time I read these books, honestly. All I remember is reading The Hunger Games for the first time, like right when I picked it up. I have a horrible memory. But I loved it. I loved rereading this because there was so much stuff that I forgot about because they don't put some of the stuff in the movies, obviously. And I've rewatched the movie so many times, and I probably have not read this since middle school. So I loved it. I loved rereading it. So.
This is the book I've reread the least of all the series, just because every time I would like want to reread one of the books, I'd be like, well, Mockingay's sad, so I don't want to do that. It was still like, I've reread it a lot still, but like this was the one I've reread the least, and I reread it on audio for the first time. And like Tatiana Maslany's narration, like she like was so emotional, and like she was like her voice would, like crack half the time, and I was just like, I can't like so yeah, I enjoyed it, although I cried so much more. Like I cried in the first minute. I don't know why. There was she's like standing in District 12, and I was like
yeah, it definitely starts off like it just hits you right in the feels from the beginning.
Yeah, and like the District 8 scene, I think I cried at, which I always cry at this book, but I normally only cry at the Buttercup scene. Like,
oh yeah.
That's the bit I always cry at, but I just cried so much more this time. So that was basically how I'd sum up this reread. I just cried a lot.
I really enjoyed, I think this is my third time reading it. And I did the audiobook as well. Like I did with the whole trilogy this time, which was super fun. I agree. The narrator is great. I love how she did the hanging tree and like, yeah, it was great.
Yes.
Yeah, and I actually only cried at the epilogue. Like I held it together the whole time, but once I got to like PETA, I completely forgot about how he planted the primroses. Like that made me die. So yeah, it was definitely fantastic as always, and I definitely appreciated the political commentary aspect more this time, because normally I just read it and I'm like, oh my gosh, Candace and PETA, like they're so cute. But I actually was looking at that this time, and it was also interesting reading it, knowing about the President Snow thing and the Tigers thing, because definitely paying more attention to that. I'm so excited for the new book. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is, I already can't remember, but I think I listened to the audiobooks for the first two for this read along, but I couldn't get the one quick enough for Mockingjay, which is sad because I wanted to hear how they did the hanging tree. But I think this is probably my third time rereading this one, because I'm awful at rereading series. Even though this one's my favorite in the series, I just like, I start with book one and then I never end up like making it through. So I'm assuming, I think I read it for the first time like almost in one sitting, and that's kind of what I did with this, just because I put off reading this for so long that I kind of had to read it in like 2 sittings. And so I don't know, I think in a lot of ways it made it like hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because so much happens, like once they're like going into the Capitol, like all that stuff leading up to that of them like hiding on the streets and stuff like that. It always seems like it's so long, but then someone said some line about how it had only been like 24 hours, and I was like, that's a long day. So I don't know. A lot of it just kind of like, it was interesting to read it in one sitting because of how, like, in what a short time span the book actually takes place in.
Yeah. The first time I read it in like one sitting. I remember the date for some reason. It was like the 2nd of January or something. I read it in like 7 hours. Like, I think I like went and had lunch and then went back and finished it. And I just remember like going downstairs. My parents were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I've been through a war." I was like,
but you did though. Like, it was a whole thing.
Like, they were like, "What?" I was like, I've been through something.
Do any of you guys have like a standout scene that you were like looking forward to reading from it, or that stood out to you this time?
The epilogue is always my favorite thing to read.
Yeah. I agree. It's so good.
I'll be reading
the
epilogue.
I was like, oh, go ahead.
No. I actually need to think more. I was like trying to think on the spot.
I was really excited for the Joanna Katniss like training scene.
I totally forgot about that. Like, I totally forgot.
We were robbed in the films.
I know. I love those. And then I was really excited for like when they're down in the bunker and she's like hanging out with Finnick.
Yeah.
I just love like her friendship with Finnick. Like, so much of it got cut out of the movies, and it makes me so sad.
Thank you for saying that, because it pisses me off. Like, I remember in the theater, I was like, "Oh my God, just wait, Mom. You'll see why I love him so much," because she won't read the books. And then, like, the underwear scene was cut out. Like,
we filmed it.
Like, I know, like, release the scene, please. Like, if you're not going to put it in there. Because there's that other deleted scene of him with, like, the rope. If you've seen that, and which is kind of bad. Like, I was like, whoa, but it was funny. And he's just adorable. And I just think their friendship was just the cutest little thing. Like, and it could have been explored more.
I know.
They didn't do it.
Friendship is like one of my favorite things about Mockingjay. Like, I forgot, because I've seen the movies obviously a lot more than I read the book. I always forget every time that it's Finnick who watches her, like, Peter's second interview with her, not Gale. Like, in the film, her and Gale like stumble upon it or something. And like she's with Finnick, and I just find that like so much nicer because he understands like why she's upset and stuff.
Yeah.
He understands her completely, like in a way that Gale can't, at least in this book. And I just appreciate him being there for her.
When Gale thought that they were flirting.
I know, not everything is about relationships.
Oh my God.
I'm like, boy, do we have bigger problems at stake?
Exactly.
You can talk to another man. It's okay.
Yeah, and he's way too old for her too, you know?
It annoys me because like then in District 2, I noted it down, like when they have that conversation in District 2, he's like, "Oh yeah, I kiss loads of girls. I've lost count of it." And I'm like, boy, like,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, him and Katniss are just like such at odds in this book. I feel like their approaches and like their thoughts on almost everything are just completely opposite.
Yeah. I feel like Gale is really, he doesn't care about mercy. I feel like he's just like, they're part of the Capitol. They're not in our rebellion, so they're gonna die. And Katniss is more like, whoa, because she's met some people from the Capitol that aren't as bad, and there has to be more people. Also, when they bombed like District 2, and he was so excited, I was like, whoa, why are you so excited to kill these people? There's probably people that are innocent in there. But
I think it's like, it's so interesting. Like, I think people always think that I hate Gale, and I don't. I just become very frustrated with him, because I do empathize with him. Like, I think his anger is like so justified, and like I completely get it, especially like after watching your District burn. Like, I completely understand. But at the same time, like I noted down, like in chapter 2, he's like, if I could push a button and just kill everyone in the Capitol, I would. And I'm like, boy, like
that's intense.
Yeah, when her team or whatever was found underground, like basically being abused, he was like, "Why are you helping them?"
Yeah.
I know, because she's being a decent human being. Like, come on, Gail.
Yeah.
Take note.
But I get it because he's not met anyone, but he's almost not even open to it, and I think that's what I have a problem with. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he was like so into like becoming like Coin's little bitch. Like, I got my wristband back, and I need to go upstairs.
Wristband, didn't he? He could be like, I've got my handicap.
Like, what's so great about it?
I
Like,
know.
he's just like, my communicuff. Look at it.
Yeah.
Coin gave it to me.
Flexing it.
Yeah. he's a lot. And I was watching another video earlier, and because like his whole, like, I find him the, like, it sounds horrible, but I find him the, like, I empathize with him the least almost, because I'm like, his whole family survive everything, and I know this sounds horrible, but compared to everyone else, I'm like,
Yeah.
your whole family survive it, you got a good job, like, I know you're gonna have trauma and everything, but like, compared to Katniss, compared to Peter, compared to Finnick, like, you got
Exactly.
well, like, compared, it's still not nice, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like his anger is justified, but then compared to everyone else who's experienced so much more like hardship because of all this stuff, and the fact that they're less like wanting revenge and like wanting, like, willing to just kill a bunch of people, it's really like odd to me.
Yeah.
I think it makes him seem a lot less justified in his ideas and everything.
Yeah. He's a lot.
He is.
I'm so annoyed.
Yeah. I feel like he also, compared to Katniss, is like a baby, because she's like been through pretty much 2 wars if you count the arenas, and like he hasn't really done anything other than like getting people out of District 12, which is great. But that's not like a war. Like, he hasn't been through like the combat. He acts like he knows everything, and I don't know.
There's a point where like they're in District 8 and she's like, oh no, they're in District 2 and she's like, Gail's never actually looked at someone and killed them. Like, he doesn't know like that far through the series and like hasn't done that. Which is interesting. And also I always feel like I forget and people forget that like he's 19 in this book. So like, you're an adult. Like, behave like an adult. Like, I know there's only 2 years difference, but I don't know, to me, like, I'm like, you're like an adult now.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how he hadn't killed people before, but he was so ready to kill like hundreds of people. Like, what?
Yeah.
But maybe it's because he hadn't, like, it's not, because he hasn't had to look at them in the face.
Yeah.
It's not like humanizing it, is it? They're just like a bunch of, he doesn't have to put like a face to it, does he? Like, yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep stuff like that.
I cringe every time he started talking. I was like, shut up.
We get great messages from Avery in our little chat with Avery just being like,
My least favorite character. He's like, maybe Coin's the worst, but like still, like, I just found him so annoying. He would say he was on Candace's side all the time, and then he would like go and contradict her, and then like just like make her life even worse. Like, not telling her about PETA, like, boiled my blood so
Yeah.
He's so petty. Like, I'm not gonna tell you.
The one thing he did do, and I noted it down because I was like, actually, that was a good thing, is when he did go back to her quarters to get all her stuff during the bombing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, and he got the locket and he got the pearl and stuff, and I was like, okay, good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to acknowledge, like, that was actually quite caring. He didn't have to do that. Like, that was stuff Peter gave to, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Was there anything that you guys had forgotten was in here and you were like surprised by or happy about?
I forgot that Haymitch volunteers to go on the mission.
I forgot that too.
I didn't even notice that. I never
noticed it before. And then, like, when Candace has come back to him, he's like, yeah, I volunteered, but they wouldn't let me go. And I was like,
oh yeah. I feel like he undervalues his life, like, because he was so ready to volunteer for PETA in the second games, and I just feel like he's ready to go, and I'm like, no. Appreciate yourself.
Yeah.
I forgot how horrible Coin was. Like, I forgot how horrible she was.
Yeah, kind of really doesn't like her. Also, like, if we're getting onto a bit of the movies here, but like, I felt like in Mockingjay Part 1, she was so nice. Like, I was watching Part 1 because I was like, she seems so nice in this film, like compared to the way she is in the book. And I was like, I don't know though if that's just because Katniss doesn't like her. So like in the book, she's just like, yeah, she's being horrible, and actually she wasn't. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I feel like too, like if they had made her more like standoffish in the first movie, then it would have been less of like a shock when she gets killed.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much of her in those movies that I feel like people would see it coming like from a mile away. Because I remember being in the theater and like people who hadn't read the books were like so surprised by it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, she is
a coin.
Interesting.
I grow frustrated with her a lot. Like, I don't know, she's a really interesting like villain. I guess we can call her a villain. I don't know. She's kind of because like obviously she has a whole backstory and I understand stuff, but also like, girl.
Yeah, I kind of wish that she had been. I mean, she couldn't have been, but like if she had been introduced in like book 2 or something, just because she comes in only in this book, and then it's like, I'm finally gonna assassinate Snow, and then she doesn't, because it's like this whole like, oh my god, Coin's the enemy, and it's like, where did she come from? Like, she just showed up 300 pages ago. I kind of wish like we knew, I don't know, we like saw her more or something, but I mean, it wouldn't have made any sense too. She just becomes such like so important at the very end of the series, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters introduced actually, like that are just in this book, and I always forget they're just in this book. Yeah, like I love Boggs. Like Boggs.
I love Boggs.
Yes, Boggs.
So much. Like he actually makes me so emotional, and I'm like, he's only in this book, and he's only in really like, I don't know, 250 pages of this book, but I just love him so much.
Me too.
I never picked up on it that he actually is a dad. Like there's a point where it's like he's hanging with his kid in the cafeteria. And I was like, oh my god.
Seriously? Why have I not noticed that?
I've read this like 6 times and I only just noticed it like in this
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So he died and he never came back. Oh no.
I mean, it's mentioned like once, literally like in passing, just like he's playing with his kid in the cafeteria or something. Yeah.
I didn't realize like the videos that they're shooting, like the dialogue is almost like word for word in the movie, which is cool.
Mom, grow your own carrots? Yes, I'm doing carrots.
That's great.
Rainbow carrots.
Yeah,
Mom. She's so excited.
That's great.
My mom's a huge gardener. First time the carrots came out yet. Sorry. What were we talking about?
I think Boggs.
We were saying how a lot of lines in the books are in the movies. I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah, it was pretty word for word, like all the prophets and stuff. But they didn't put that one bit in the books that I always liked, that they didn't. I mean, weirdly, one thing that I always forget is that they never actually air the hanging tree in the books at all. Like, it's not like they film it, but it never gets aired or anything. Like, it's just not a thing. And then obviously in the film, they're like, we're going to make this the biggest sequence of the film.
Yeah.
I love the thing in this film. It's so good.
It's really good. But also like Katniss talks about the bread, like for a proper, like she like tells the story to everyone, and I'm like, she's opening up.
Yeah.
I don't think that one gets released though.
It doesn't get released, no.
Yeah, because then they put Finnick instead.
Too juicy. They're like, we don't care some bread thing. Like Finnick stuff was
They
like,
want Finnick stuff.
yeah.
Ooh, I forgot about all that stuff Finnick was saying. I
It's
forgot about that. I was like, ooh.
In the movie, it kind of makes me mad because when he's telling that story, they cut it into the action scene, so most viewers who are just watching don't really pay attention to what he's saying. And I'm like, poor Finnick deserves better. Like, this is his moment, and they ruined it.
I like understood it because like it's like to build tension, and like obviously it is happening at the same time. But like I understand, like I completely agree. Like it just. Like most people who've seen the films, I'm like, oh yeah, Finnick was like sold for prostitution. They're like, what? I was like,
yeah, like they I normally have to explain it to people after that scene happens, because like my mom and like anybody in my family that I've forced to watch it, they never get it. They have no idea why I like him.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what he looked like before I read this. So, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another scene, a scene I had forgotten about was with Gail's sister Posey and Octavia.
Posey.
Oh yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
sweet.
I forgot. I actually forgot about the prep team. Like, I don't know why, because it is like a thing in the books, but I only read this last year, but for some reason, like when she was going down to the room, and I was like, oh my, I made a note in my thing. I was like, this room, what does it mean? This looks so shady. And then like they open it, and it's like, oh yeah, that does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, I feel bad for them. That was a whole interesting conversation too about like, you know, like how do they deserve to be treated because they are still like Capitol people, but being here is just as hard for them as it is for everyone else and everything. That was interesting because Katniss was like, it was to Gale, right? She was like defending them to Gale, and he's like, how can you defend them?
Another reason to not like you.
I found it funny actually when like people like Plutarch and Fulvia would just be like, I just want some coffee, or like they'd get really like mad about like little things, and you could just see everyone else being like, coffee is not the main issue, guys. Like, come on.
Yeah, they did bring up coffee a lot.
Yeah, I feel like Plutarch was always like, I want coffee. Oh, did you guys, I don't know about you, but every time they brought up like the pandemic in District 13, I just was sitting there like,
same. Yeah, I was like, interesting.
They were like this disease that went through the hospital, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Like, okay. But I don't know, I'd never paid attention to it before, and then I was suddenly just like, oh, this is too real.
Yeah.
Something that bothers me is how with PETA, how like everybody so quickly turns on him, and I'm like, why do I not think that they were doing something to the poor child?
I mean, they
like,
just don't care about him, really, do they? Like, they only go get
I feel
him.
like
She's having a
I feel
breakdown.
like Gail was like looking for a reason not to like him. I feel he was like instantly like, oh my god, he betrayed everybody. Like, we can't with him. And I'm like, no.
I do find it funny how they were like, oh no, he's betrayed us, and Candace was to be like, he's probably being tortured. Like, I was like, how did
like
none of us come up with that? Like, especially as like he didn't know, and like nobody had told him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went through so much crap.
I know.
I know.
It's so. I have a friend who's reading Catching Fire for the first time right now, and I don't think she like knows really what happens in Mockingjay. And she's like, I love Peter so much. He's been through so much. And I'm like, oh honey. I was like,
just wait.
I was like, if you think he's been through a lot at this point, just wait. Yeah, I just don't feel like they care about him, really.
No.
No.
Something that I wished was in the movie that I forgot about in the book was how he made Annie and Finnick's wedding cake.
Yeah,
same.
So cute. Like he used it as therapy, pretty much. Like adorable.
That's so cute.
I liked all the details about the wedding in the book, and like how they had the little District 12 fiddler and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really sweet.
It was.
I was like, wow. I think I haven't got it, but the tab version of Mockingjay I have, it's mostly just blue tabs, which is sad. And then my little pink tabs are like happy moments, and that's like the one little pink tab where I can add these.
Yeah, there definitely aren't that many.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed what's her face, like Deli Cartwright or whatever, talking to Peter.
I love Deli.
Yes.
I know she's the sweetest person. Like, what the heck?
I know she's such a small character, but every time someone brings Deli up, she is the best.
Yes.
Like,
I love how she was mentioned in the first book and like it all circled around and she actually like talked to them.
Yeah. And she's like just so nice. And she's
And
like,
I feel like she's also like the biggest Peeta and Katniss like stan.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, I will help you.
She
Oh my god.
like, not to like talk too much, but like she always like I've read quite a lot of like fanfic like post Mockingjay, and she always shows up in like post fiction.
Nice. It's what she deserves.
Yeah.
Because
She's
I
always
Exactly.
like,
I love the cafeteria scene when like Peeta was like basically being rude to Katniss and it hurt Katniss' feelings, so she got up and walked away. And you just hear Deli like yelling at Peeta, like, "Why would you do that?"
yeah.
Yes.
It was so cute. And also
Didn't Peeta, sorry.
No, you go.
Didn't Peeta like say something rude to Finnick too? I can't remember.
Oh,
And like they had to say
take Annie away from you or something, like really?
Oh yeah.
I just spent the whole of like I spent the first half of Mockingjay like, where's Peeta? I want him back. Like I missed him. And then he comes back and I'm like, take him back. And I didn't want this version.
Yeah.
I didn't want that. He's so
that scene when he like chokes her. Like I'm sorry, but that's iconic though, because that's the most shocking thing that could happen. Because he's always been like, I love Katniss, and then he literally grabbed her by the throat and like. The movie scene like gets me every time because he like just throws her and like
the movie. I remember watching the movie. I went to like a midnight premiere, so I was really tired and like I was like, oh god, this is going to be like horrible no matter how they do it, and it was so much more violent than I was expecting. I was just like,
it was so bad.
He like smashes her head, and I was literally in shock. I was like, what the hell?
I mean, I guess they had to make it dramatic since it's the last scene.
I can't believe they were gonna end it on that scene. Like they were gonna end it on Boggs knocking him out originally, and then they were like, "Well, like that's a bit mean."
Yeah, that is so mean. That scene where he's like tied up to that bed and he's just like flipping the frick out.
That last shot, like I remember, like that's all. I was just like that just stuck in my head for like a day after I first saw it. I was just like, oh my god.
Because it's just so sad. Like that's our little boy, and he's disturbed.
Boy. Yeah, he's got some issues.
Oh my god.
I do find it funny, like the way she describes him when he comes to the Capitol to like join the squad in the books. Like I don't know why, but the way she describes it, she's like he just waltzes in and he's like got his gun. And I always just like see that meme in my head that's like, surprise, bitch. Yeah, I don't know. Bless him.
What did y'all think about the tigress scene?
I was reading that scene like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I was like, here we go.
I was paying so much attention. I was like, what information can I get?
I mean, I feel like there has to be something that Snow does to her that's just completely unforgivable. And I feel like we're going to find out what it is. Like, he's going to do some terrible shit. And then she probably stayed being a stylist for years. I also think the line that's really interesting is when it says, like, she was with the Capitol until she wasn't. And I'm like, what did she do? I want to know what she did.
And like when Katniss is like, I'm gonna kill Snow, and she just like kind of smiles at her. I was like,
yes, she smiles.
I was
so
like,
good.
I was like, that is your cousin. Like, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Just so what? Like, yeah, that was because I was like in the early parts of reading Mockingjay when that extract was released, so I was like proper listening out.
I haven't read the part of A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes it, because I know if I read a little bit of it, I want all of it. So
Yeah, the struggle.
I'm normally like that.
There's like 2 bits both from chapter 1, I think.
yeah, I didn't read it. I didn't want to torture myself. I was like, I can wait a little bit longer. It's okay.
Yeah. I just was like, I hate like finding out on social media, so I was like, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, because no other book series do I ever care to read the excerpts that come out, because like you said, like I would rather it just be with me so I can keep reading it, but for this, like I just had to.
Yeah. I used to like do that a bit with Hunger Games. I remember like with the film releases, when they started releasing like scenes from the first film, I refused to watch like Peter's interview scene, even though it leaked like 2 weeks before the film came out. I was like, I'm not watching it. And it was so hard to avoid. And then for the rest of the film, I just watched everything because I was like, I can't be bothered to do that again. It's too much.
I think I have trailer reactions for that one trailer where PETA like is sitting there. I don't know, it's so vague in my head. But like I have like 3 trailer reactions, one from Catching Fire, I think. Actually, I think it's Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2.
There is a the first Hunger Games trailer, the original trailer. There is a video of me reacting to it on YouTube, but it's not
That's
on the trailer, so I'm not ready. I'm not saying, but it just, I'm like 15. I'm like a baby. And it's like, I'm excited.
That's awesome though, because it's just cool. It's like a memory.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back and watch it, and I'm like, oh, honey.
I'm gonna probably film the selection trailer one.
Oh yeah, me too. I just reread them.
Why do I?
I loved watching those videos, Peyton. I was like, yes.
Thank you. I need to get her new book.
They're on Kindle Unlimited right now, and there's a really big part of me that wants to just read them all in a week. I've never read them before, and I just want to read them all in a weekend.
Me too, Lily. I think you
Same.
Yeah, just expect it to not be the best thing ever, but it's entertaining. That's the key word about it.
Just like like mindless kind of stuff, but
and like it's really similar, like way similar to the Hunger Games than I ever remembered. It's really weird. Even the main dude, he's like just like PETA. He's like soft boy energy for real.
When I was watching your videos, I was like, so Aspen's Gale and Maxon's PETA? That sounds about right.
Seriously,
yeah, I
it was just like
too,
that.
So.
Yeah, ew.
I always hated him.
I remember hating him, but I didn't like know why. And then I reread it and I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Gracie in the chat said she was surprised by the contrast in between the war and the Capitol, where the Capitol, they say that it looks like candy.
Yeah.
I had completely forgotten about that because I was just picturing it in the movies where everything is just gray.
Yeah.
I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting architecture.
I know they went to Europe.
Berlin and Paris.
Yeah, Berlin and Paris. They scouted London, and I was mad that they didn't choose it because I lived in London at the time, and I was like, I want to go to set.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, no, I've been to Berlin, and it does, parts of it do look a lot like that. But yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like, the Capitol doesn't necessarily look like how I imagined it in my head, but I don't know what I really imagined in my head.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore. I just remember that District 13 in the movies looked a lot like I thought it would.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah, it looked pretty similar to what I had in my head. Because I find a lot of the settings have been replaced with the movie stuff in my head, but I still have the characters I originally thought of in my head. So I don't imagine the actors in my head much.
I think it's just hard to disassociate that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From actors to characters.
Yeah. I think I sometimes I start to, but then if Katniss mentions her height difference with Peter, I'm always like, okay, yeah, no, that's not.
Yeah, or there's this it's always about how small and short Katniss is and how tiny she is, and I'm like,
and she's
okay.
tall.
I'm like, Jennifer Lawrence is powerful, so.
Yes. And poor Josh is really short.
Yeah.
I remember when he was cast, and like we were all like, "Wait, is he shorter than her?" And we were trying to Google their heights to see if they actually like.
Yeah,
would be,
I
like,
think it's just unfortunate because they casted like an actress who's super tall and then an actor who's like
super
really short, but they still work. It's cute.
Yeah. They made sure most of their kissing scenes were sitting down.
True.
I never even noticed that. That's probably on purpose too.
Yeah, I think most of them are. Like one of them's lying down, or yeah, I can't remember. I was gonna say something. It's so funny to me how much she thinks of Pia throughout this book. Like, because I like when I talk to people, and they're like, I don't think she really likes either of them, and then I'm like, I feel like when I read Mockingjay, she's always thinking about him. Like,
Yeah, she is.
Yes. I don't understand.
Like, and
I don't understand how anyone can be Team Gale. I've never met anyone who is Team Gale. There's a reason for that.
I know lots of people who are.
Yeah, I know
There's
a couple
a lot.
people.
Yeah, on the internet, I got put in a group chat the other day for this like Hunger Games collab thing, and everybody's Team Gale or like saying she should have ended up alone. I just felt attacked. I was like, oh shit.
I have a thing about her ending up alone, which like basically I just think it would be like, for me, she's so traumatized at the end, and like the idea of her being alone when she's that depressed, like it doesn't feel empowering to me or anything. It just makes me feel sad. Like,
yeah,
you have to deal with that by yourself. Like, I don't know, but like when I've been dealing with mental health and stuff, like you don't want to do that by yourself. Like, you need a support system. So like, that's me anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because normally you get more sad when you're just like constantly isolated and stuff like that. So she would probably never fully be okay. Her sister's gone. Her mom freaking left her. I think that's really sad. Like her mom is not even with her.
When she like realized, because like her mom doesn't even tell her. She just gets back and she's like, "Oh, my mom's not here." Oh,
that's honestly terrible. Like she should have at least told her.
Yeah.
The scene when Gale like gets captured and he wants Katniss to like kill him and shoot him so he doesn't like get tortured because he gave his nightlock to Peter or whatever. My friend and I were watching the movie last night, and she was like, honestly, I think the book and the movie would have been so much better if she actually killed him. Right? She was like, it would have made the story so much more interesting.
I do find the movie scene funny when she says goodbye, Gale, and then just like that's it. And I was like, I remember watching it like, oh,
dang.
Yeah, I remember watching interviews with one of the producers, I think Nina Jacobson, and it's so funny when you watch interviews with her because she's so clearly like a Katniss Peter stan. And I was like, I bet that was Nina. Just sliding in there. But yeah, I have lots of feelings about the ending. I don't know, I just think the ending's like nice. Like, it's like realistic, but
yeah, I forgot that. I honestly forgot how like depressed she is. Like
she's like suicidal. Like,
oh
yes, she was.
And like I wish Gracie Say was in the movie so much.
I love Gracie Say.
I love Gracie Say. Her and her granddaughter would come in and make her like food twice a day.
Yes. Gracie Say is the real MVP. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
I love that. I loved like having other people like put in the effort to help her.
Yeah.
You know, like when Gracie Say came and helped her, Haymitch helped her for a little bit.
Because like Gracie Say is also in the scene where they're asking like, you know, where Haymitch like is asking people like when has Katniss moved you? I like noted down Gracie Say. And, like, his friend Levy is like in that scene as well. Like Levy's mentioned it twice, but like she was like in there as well, which I just thought was nice that they have like other District 12 people in there. The bit at the end though that like messed me up that I hadn't like noted before was when she's like walking through District 12 on her way to the woods and she's talking about them picking up all the bodies and like she calls it like the reaping of the dead or something. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, that's such a like powerful image. I don't know. It just
Yeah, I love how they start to rebuild District 12 instead of just like leaving it there.
Mhm.
Like, I think that's so cute. And people moved back.
Mhm.
Like, so cute.
They build like a medicine factory. It's real cute.
Yeah.
I always have noted there's like a bit at the end. She's like kind of what does she say? She says like, "Oh, I'm I'm just sitting in my chair, but I feel like I'm waiting for something." And then Peter comes back, and I'm like, "You were waiting for
Yes.
your man."
Yeah, because then like
No, that's true.
she hears him like shoveling outside or whatever, and she comes outside. You can just see how long she's just been sitting in the same place for days. She's like, her hair is completely matted, and like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then she like goes up and actually like has a shower and stuff. I don't know. I feel like it's not even necessarily a romantic thing at first. It's just like seeing him doing something normal gave her like the hope to like the. She was like, if he can do that, then I can go have a shower. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's so cute how he just like first thing he does when he gets back.
Yeah.
I know.
I think it's cute that he wasn't trying to make it like a romantic thing immediately. It was supposed to be like a friendship. They were going to build back together, and like eventually they love each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say it's like rushed at the end, but I feel like it would have been so weird to me if Suzanne had just suddenly written like a chapter of like their romance at the end, because she's just not done that throughout. It just would have like.
Heck, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
It would be weird.
Yeah, like it just. I feel like she summed it up pretty well. Like, every time I listen to it, I'm like, she explains it right there why she did what she did.
Yeah.
She's literally like, "This is why I chose Peter." There is no.
I love that line where she's like,
a good
Gail
line.
was like the anger, like the fire, and
Yeah.
PETA was the dandelion in the spring.
I know.
Oh, I completely forgot about that line.
I forgot about that line too. I underlined that.
Every time, like,
It hit me.
I've been in so deep that every time the dandelions pop up in the spring again, I'm always like, oh. It's cute.
It is cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love this is my middle school copy. Literally, I would write that line on everything.
Yes.
I loved it. Anyway, I interrupted someone. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I think I was just gonna say something I forgot that I thought was like interesting was that Plutarch mentions that in like the new nations, like their first live televised event is Katniss's trial, which I'm like, I feel like that's still like kind of messed up. Like I don't
Yeah.
like. He's like, yeah, your trial was like just televised live for everyone to watch, entertainment. I'm like,
That's
terrible.
Hard thing to say though.
yeah, I don't know.
I forgot how much she was like always focused on the cameras and everything. Like, I guess I didn't really think about Plutarch all that much years later, and then reading back on it, I'm like, man.
Plutarch is like the mastermind behind it all.
Yeah.
I have a lot of conflicting feelings about him.
I know, he feels creepy.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about the scene where Coin is like, maybe we should do a Hunger Games with the Capitol kids.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big scene.
Yeah, it's terrible that I low-key was like, oh yeah, just write it. I want to read that. That'd be so good. But also, I've gotten so many comments because I feel like some people think that she said yes to that because she knew what Coin's doing and she was going to kill her. Was she doing that on purpose, or was she actually agreeing with her?
Yeah, that's what I've always wondered.
Because it's very, like, vague.
I, like, have a theory, because I originally always thought she knew exactly what she was going to do and said yes just to get Coin on her, like, to not suspect her or anything. But then I was talking to someone once and they were like, I don't know if Katniss is, like, that smart to think of that in advance. And I was like, true. I just don't know if she would, like, she's so messed up. I just don't know if she would have thought of it right there and then, if you see what I mean. Like, quickly. But I think been like, I need to get Coin to not suspect me because I need to get rid of her in some way. Like, I think she would have been thinking about it. And then, like, I never thought she said yes actually for Prim. I always thought it was just a ruse to get Coin to not suspect her. Because if she said no, because then it's that whole thing Boggs was talking about, like, if you don't agree with Coin, then you're a threat.
You're against her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was like a line where she was like saying she was thinking about, like, I don't know, I'd have to find it. I also think, like, was she planning on killing Coin, or was it just the moment like she saw her and was like, no, like, this bitch is dying?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know, because she had the pill with her.
She didn't have the Nightlock. Like,
That's
she was
true.
Yeah. But she always said she was gonna, like, early on, she said she was gonna kill Snow and then kill herself. Like, that was like the book. Like, from when Peter got back, she was like, I'm gonna kill Snow and then I'm gonna kill myself. Like, that's pretty much that was always her thinking, as far as I remember. Gracie said, the way she looks at the glass with the rose and says, this is the moment I see how alike Haymitch and I are, makes it obvious she was just planning to kill her.
Yeah, I think I always thought, like, yeah, I feel like I've like flip-flopped between like both the another Hunger Games thing and also like how pre-planned the whole Coin thing was.
Yeah.
But I feel like she might have just been on the fence about it, like when she went over there to do it. And then I feel like seeing Coin like in that like obvious position of power, and then seeing Snow, who's like already dying, like tied up, it's like maybe that like was like the final push to be like, he's already gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we need to take out, you know, the next enemy or whatever. But then Paler becomes president, and we don't really know that much about her. Like, she seems cool, but it's just weird to have like, this is the new person in charge, but we really don't know.
Yeah, they trusted her so quick. I was like, okay.
I thought she was elected.
What? Oh,
was she?
Oh, I think you're right. I think she was elected.
I think they voted for her. I think they say like, I think they say we're gonna hold an election, and Paler is probably gonna carry it because she's popular. Yeah, I think that's what Plutarch says to her. I think he's like, she will probably get it because she was quite like prominent in District 8. And then is she in District 2? I think she's in the film. I can't remember if she is in the book. Yeah. So I think she's like been quite prominent in the rebellion movement, but she's always been quite compassionate. So I guess she seems like the good choice.
I have a random question.
Yeah.
Do we know if Caesar Flickerman freaking got murdered? Like, I feel like he did. I want to know what happened to him.
Because he was so
like, he was in all of the books, so like, give me his freaking story. I also want to know, because I was talking about this in my recent video, like, sometimes he seemed sympathetic, but it was probably just the show. Like, what did he really think about it? And I don't know. Like, did he die?
Yeah.
Is my main question.
I
probably did.
I don't know. I've almost had it. I didn't put it actually in my predictions and theories video because I only thought of this later. But I remember Katniss saying that he's like pretty old. So I'm almost curious to see if we'll see him at all in the prequel. Like,
that'd be cool.
Even if he's just like younger. Like, I just feel like she says somewhere that he's really old, and he's just had like a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, because I guess it's really possible if their technology is that advanced that they could still look decently young. That'd be so cool.
I mean, Tigris looks like a cat.
Yeah. I'd love more on Caesar because I think he's definitely like really complicit, but also like you say, he does help.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when he is interviewing people, he almost feels bad for them, but is he just faking it? I don't even know.
He really like walks that line, doesn't he? Of like,
yeah. I think my dog's barking. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I know we've talked a bit about the movies, but do you guys want to talk about anything to do with the movies at all?
I feel like Finnick's death in the movies was more dramatic and like better.
Yeah.
Kind of like the death he deserved, because I was surprised how quickly all the people, like, I don't know, the 5 of them or something,
They, like,
died. Yeah, they died all within like 25 pages of each other.
Yeah.
If even that. And it was like such quick deaths.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he, like, I'm, even though it's like so sad, but like that he got, like, his death was more of like an on-screen thing than it was in the book, because it happened so fast in the book.
So,
yeah, it was like a page where she was just looking at him. I'm such a bitch for this, because I was always like, F you, Gail, for not trying to help. She was like, oh my God. He was
He's like, let's go.
Let's go. And I'm like, don't go.
Yeah.
Help him. But it was too far gone, but I'm just mad about it.
And yeah, at least in the movie, because he gets like his little swell of music and like it focuses on him at least a little bit. I guess that's the benefit of the movies, is because Katniss is so focused on what she's doing, and not like see what Finnick is doing.
Man,
wonder if
died that day. No, you're good. I was just saying, so many people died that day.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Wonder if the movies like deviated and didn't kill him. That would have been iconic. And then we could see him.
So many people would have been so happy.
I would have been happy. I wouldn't even care.
I feel conflicted, because like I really understand, but I don't feel like she did it just for shock. Like I do feel like there is a point to it. Like it's kind of like Remus's death in Harry Potter. Like it shows that fathers die in war and stuff, and like, but it also is so sad because he's been through so much. Like,
I know. And he just got married. He was so close to happiness.
Looking at it, I guess it's like it was the death she could do that would have the most emotional impact without killing off one of the main, the main 3 or 4 characters. If you see what I mean.
Yeah. Because Prince doesn't hit me that way.
Yeah, but it is, especially when he's just on his wedding. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, we just had it.
Something that the movies didn't do that the books did, they didn't really show how the games affected Annie all that much, you know?
I would love to know more about her.
Yeah, movie Annie just seems so normal compared to book Annie, you know?
Yeah, they had more scenes in the book with Annie in them. One thing I thought was really sweet was Katniss takes Annie to 12 to like get a dress for her wedding.
Yes,
I loved that.
That's so cute.
Like all of the stuff revolving around the wedding is just like so wholesome and cute. I love it.
It's like the only wholesome moment other than the epilogue.
Yeah.
Literally.
Seriously.
So true.
I also liked how they put Effie in the movies.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a great choice.
Yeah. I almost feel like I might be making it up. I feel like I've seen an interview where Suzanne Collins was like, I almost feel like I should have done that, like kept Effie in the books rather than introduce loads of new people.
Yeah, it was just cool to see her in such a strange environment for her. Yeah. And I don't know, I just like the idea of the Capitol people realizing their mistakes and just like seeing how terrible everything has been.
And I feel like it works so well with Effie, because it's like she basically does the job of what the prep team do in the book, but you actually have more emotional investment in her as a character. So it works.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely like movie Effie better than book Effie. Like when I was reading this, I wasn't really sad that she wasn't in Mockingjay because I don't know, like I don't really love her in the books.
Yeah, I agree.
So I feel like it kind of, I don't know, like if she would have been in these books, that would have been fine. But I'm not like sad that she came in at the very end. But I think movie wise, like it would have been so weird because she's so big in the movies to have like just this random like Fulvia, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this is Effie 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
I just feel like the actress really went hard with her. She was great.
Yeah.
No one else could have played her.
She went apparently when she read the book, she like rang up her agent and was like, I'm playing Effie. And like that was it. And that's how she got the part, basically. To be fair, you did a great job. So Yeah.
She got a big head. Like, she will not stand up. It pisses me off. I have to like prop her up because her head is too big for these little feet.
One thing I do really like in the movies, like I do love in Mockingjay Part 1, like all the rebellion scenes, like with the hanging tree and the dam, and like the District 7 scene.
Yes.
That scene.
Yes.
It makes me so emotional.
Yeah, because in the book we couldn't really see on the outside. That's what I think the movies do well, is we get to see more of President Snow.
Yes.
When
I like those a
districts
lot.
are angry. Yeah, I like that.
It's cool to see his side of it.
I think I mentioned it in the Catching Fire live show, but I just find it so funny in the first one when he's like, all symbols of the Mockingjay are forbidden, and then his granddaughter's just like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
I love that she loves Katniss. It's great.
I love all the President Snow scenes.
And
I do too. He does such a good job.
Yeah.
The like casting director like came up with the two of Snow's henchmen or whatever, the woman and the guy or whatever. And I watched like a behind the scenes thing of Mockingjay Part 1. I watched a few of those. There's like 2 hours of that footage of like behind the scenes stuff.
I watched a few Part 2 like afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Part 2 ones yet. But in Part 1, the guy who gets like killed in Part 2 or whatever, like by poison, Snow poisons him. Apparently he's like next door neighbors to the director, and like jokingly one day, like he was outside and he was like, "Hey, you're making that Hunger Games film. Do you have a role that I could play?" Like joking. He's like, "Yeah, maybe." And he sends a picture of his neighbor to the casting director and goes, "Yeah, he could look like a bad guy." That's how he got the role.
I remember when that cut,
funny.
like, because they used to do announcements like for all the they used to like announce them like every day on Twitter when they were doing casting. And I remember his one coming through, and everyone was like, "Who the hell is Antonius?" we were like, "What the hell?" We were like, "What is this?" Because they felt like Natalie Dormer as Cressida, and we all like lost our minds, like, because I just love that casting so much. Like, I just love Natalie Dormer.
Same.
Yeah. So, and then like we were like, "Who's Antonius?" Yeah, no. I do like a lot of those scenes.
Oh, I love Pollux too.
Yes, he's so cute.
He is. He's one of my favorites from this.
Oh, that scene in the movie when he lost his brother.
Oh, I know. So sad.
And his
I also like
backstory is
Cressida.
so sad as well, like being down in those sewers for like.
I know.
Oh yeah, because he was like traumatized that he had to be back there. Poor dude.
I know. And then like when she teaches him like the Mockingjay thing, and then she's like, "This is probably the first like conversation he's been able to have," and I'm like, so sweet.
Poor guy.
In the film, I can't remember exactly what he says, but when he first sees Katniss, you can see him in the background like signing something to his brother, and someone like translated it, and it was basically like, "Oh, she's really pretty" or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was really cute.
So pure.
And then his brother responds, "Yes." Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was really cute.
I also wonder about Inobaria. She got so freaking lucky that she survived. Like,
I know.
She literally won everything. I feel.
You think
It's just the one with the weird teeth.
I know.
For the rest of her life, she just had like sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's about like all those Capitol like fashions and like what happened afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
slowly go back to normal. Like, if they had like permanent alterations, like, what was the situation?
I wonder
I
if
really-
they think they're ugly now.
I really like how this book like humanizes like citizens of the Capitol. Because I feel like in like the first one especially, it's like, oh, the Capitol's bad and all the people who live there are bad. And then like you see them all like, you know, like as refugees with like all their weird clothes and like carrying bird cages and stuff. And I'm like, they're suffering too, you know, at the hands of like all these people.
I really hate how they had all those Capitol kids like in front of wherever President Snow was. Yeah, that's so sad. And
That girl in the yellow coat, like every time I read that little bit with like
I know.
the yellow coat and then like crying about her pet. I don't know why.
it's so evil.
I do like. I always appreciated like she took such a nuanced approach to the Capitol, because it could have been so easy to just be like they're all evil, but she like acknowledges that it's like the system that is evil, the people at the top that are evil, and these people have just been brainwashed, and this is all they've ever known. So like you can't. Obviously, if they start finding out and then they continue, then they are complicit. But like, yeah, I don't know. I felt like it was very.
Why does that remind me of North Korea? Seriously though, I watched a documentary and they were all like, "We love like Kim Jong Un," or I can't even say it. I'm sorry.
Kim Jong Un.
Yeah, that's all they've ever known. So it's like you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I read a book. I think it's called "In Order to Live," and like she thought that until she didn't. Like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that's all we've ever known. Yeah.
That's why I feel bad. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that's why I feel bad for like people like Cato, because I feel like he was grown up in such a terrible environment where, like, if he wasn't in that environment, I don't think he would have ended up being like that murderous killer type dude. And it's just terrible that the world made him do that, and he literally volunteered. He could have kept living, but no, he volunteered and then freaking died in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I remember finding this, like, I was going back through my old like blog and stuff, and there was this post where someone was like, "Oh yeah, I cheered when Clove died in the theater," because like yeah. And then someone responded, and they were like, "I mean, like I know she was horrible in the film, but like she was like indoctrinated and raised a certain way, and was like ultimately just like a pawn in this system. Like she is just a kid. Like
yeah,
stop. Like I don't know. It's like I get it, because like you do feel that in the moment. You're like, oh thank God, like she's out of the way. But at the same, like when you think about it, it's like she was just a kid. Like
yeah.
It's complicated.
It's definitely complicated.
I just love like when Katniss goes to talk to Snow at the end, and he's like, "You thought I did that?"
Oh, iconic.
Like, oh, I was evil. Wow.
I love that. And the movie scene is just so good.
Yeah. One of my favorites.
And like he really got in her head, but the thing is he wasn't wrong. He was like, "Do you see, like this is just gonna happen again?" And she's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he's just like spilling the tea, walked up with his roses. I love it.
He does love drama.
He does.
Yeah.
Which is like one thing I'm like, will we see this in the prequel? Like Snow's love of, I mean, he loves drama.
So like people beat him to death, like
yeah,
that's how he died. They just like it probably didn't take much. It's like he's old.
Yeah.
He was dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that part in the movie when he's like laughing at her, like blood is coming out of his mouth.
It's so creepy, but it's so well done. Like,
yes, it is.
Especially if you don't know what's coming, it's just like, what is this man laughing about? It's so creepy.
Yeah, I remember like reading her killing Coin and just being like,
yeah,
it makes me excited because I'm like I keep forgetting, but like because it was so long ago. But I remember the first time reading this, like all the different plot twists, and I'm just like, oh, we're gonna get so many new plot twists in like 10 days.
Yes. Oh my god, I know. I can't believe it's that close. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't believe it.
I can't get a physical copy of the book.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I don't know if I can.
Like I'm probably just gonna get the Kindle version for now and maybe ask for the physical copy for my birthday in September or something. But like the copy from like my local bookstore is like $30.
Yeah, no.
I'm not paying that. And then Amazon's like not shipping anything at the moment. And so
yeah, my Amazon pre-order says it's still coming May 19th. I ordered it in January, but I think people that are pre-ordering it now is saying it's like gonna take forever. So I'm just like,
it's gonna take forever.
Yeah. I'm ordering it from my from work. and I know they've cancelled like some of the pre-orders. I got a DM from like one of my other co-workers, and she was like, "Have they cancelled your pre-order?" And I was like, "No." It's still processing according to them, but I know other people who they've cancelled it for. But I think it's just because of like the publishers are all at home, like they can't do as big a print run as they probably wanted to, so they've had to like cancel some of them. But I can get it like half price through work, which is very handy because it's expensive as well here.
Yeah.
But like I will probably buy the Kindle edition as well, because if it doesn't come on the 19th, then like I'm not spoiled. Like I just want to read it.
I know. I'm really worried that cause I have two. I have one from Barnes & Noble, which is definitely going to be late because they suck at pre-orders.
Yeah.
But Amazon normally doesn't fail me, so I'm hoping it doesn't. But I checked it's like $16, and I'm like, I already bought 2 copies of the book, so I really hope I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't show up, I got to do something. I do not want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
Like I got to read this as quick as possible before everybody's talking about it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like avoiding social media like the plague, just like
Yes.
not doing anything about it. Does anyone in the comments have any questions that they want us to like go through? Does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about?
I don't think I do.
I'm also curious if the audiobook comes out, are they going to have a male narrator?
Male narrator. It's the guy who plays in Frozen.
Okay.
Which I thought was an interesting choice. It's the guy who plays Hans in Frozen.
Oh.
It's the guy who plays Hans in Frozen?
Dang. I mean, he has a good voice, but he's annoying.
Yeah, and also plays like the guy who turns into a villain. So I thought it was an interesting choice.
That is funny.
Yeah. Shelby asked, what are your main theories for the prequel?
I just have no idea.
Yeah, I honestly don't have any. I haven't been thinking about it that much because I just want to like go into it blind with no expectations.
I was saying how I was telling them, I think that he's going to fall in love with this District 12 girl, and like that spurs his hatred for the district. That's maybe my theory, but because then she does something, I don't know.
But I also feel like maybe, I was thinking about this today, I was like, maybe he like has feelings for her or whatever, and like maybe that's why District 12 gets left slightly alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I also thought about
get left alone. No, I was just saying they do just get left alone, like in terms of peacekeepers and everything. Like it's definitely maybe that's why.
Maybe
he has a little bit of a soft spot for them. I also thought about like the alternative if he starts to like fall in love with her, which I still think is gross, but I feel like it's definitely probably going to happen by all the descriptions. But wonder if she is playing him. Like I would love if she was just like manipulating him, and
I really want her to
that'd be so iconic. I know, like please mess this dude up.
Yeah.
I'd love that.
And I don't know. I just have this feeling because I know a lot of people think she's going to be the District 12 winner, and like I think she could be as well. But I also don't necessarily think she's going to survive the book. Like I don't think her necessarily winning means she's going to survive the book. Like I just.
Yeah, I don't think that she's going to live, because I would think that maybe Snow would get with her in actually if she lived or something, if they really liked each other. But obviously that didn't happen because everyone would tell him, nowadays he was married to a girl from 12.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder what would happen if someone from the Capitol fell in love with someone from the district. Like, would they try to kill them, or would they let them go over there?
Maybe that's why they keep them so separate, like later on. Like, they can't have any contact or any knowledge about the other districts or anything.
True.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know, like, what the situation is in this book with regards to the world, like how different it is. I don't know.
I guess like final theory, because there's not really much you can say since there's little information, but I definitely think he will not be portrayed as a hero.
Yeah.
And because even from the excerpt, he sounds like his voice is just from like a shitty person, like you can tell.
Yeah.
Definitely.
leads him, and hopefully a lot of people have been saying like if he starts using poison, it'd be cool to see the origins of the poison thing.
And yeah, I feel like we definitely will.
Yeah.
I was just thinking earlier, there's like, I will be so mad if there's like, if she is going to go down the romantic plotline, if we're going to get like more content of that than we do of like Katniss and Peter in the series, I'll be so mad. I'll be like, Miss.
That would be so annoying.
I'll be like, you know what? You gave us crumbs in the original trilogy. So it's a big book though. I just like, and she's she's so concise with her. Like when you think about how much happens in each book and how they're only like 400 pages.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is she gonna stuff in there?
Exactly. Like something must go down. I'm scared.
How long is the new one?
Isn't it like close to 600 pages, I think?
I think my UK hardback says it's like around 550 or something, but then like it might be different to the US edition. I don't know.
Yeah. 500 to 600 pages at least.
500 to 600. Yeah.
500 for Kindle edition, 540.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost there.
Big.
It's a big book. I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. I got no room.
I've got
And I
like
have 2 copies.
I've got like a whole shelf, and I don't know. One thing we didn't talk about. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit actually with Mockingjay, but like we didn't talk that much about the epilogue. Does anyone have anything else to say about the epilogue?
I love it.
It's perfect.
Yeah, the last line where he's like, "Do you love me, real or not real?" And she says, "Real." Like, oh my god.
I forget it's only in this book because I feel like it's such an iconic part of their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also love the reference to their kiss in the second arena, like their first real one, and said once she could kiss him again like that, and like,
she's so hyped just before he strangles her. Like she's so hyped. Like he's gonna kiss me again. I'm so excited, and I'm just like,
dude. I also love the line, but there are much worse games to play. Like that gives me chills.
That's a perfect ending line.
It is the perfect ending.
It's
no other ending like is ever gonna top that for me. Like I feel like it's just the best.
I know.
Like
literally, it hits me in here. I get chills, and then when you watch the movie scene, she's talking to the baby. Like,
Dude, I love that scene so much. There were so many people talking about that damn baby after the movie. They were giving so much hate on this baby. I'm like, have you never seen a white baby have deep set eyes? That's what I look like as a baby. Like,
it was her nephew. Like, Jesus
they're
Christ.
like, who's this baby? Like, they're like they were so upset with how the baby looked. I don't care.
That's so rude.
It was like Jennifer's nephews. Jesus Christ.
That makes it worse. Because if people told her, like, dang, those babies, like, they ugly. She'd be like, what the heck?
But I do feel like the ending in the sorry, my friend Abby just commented in the chat. There's a fiction called Worst Games to Play by this author called Hermione, and it's like about their kids, and it's the best thing ever.
Oh my gosh, I need to read that.
It's so good. Their daughter's a little sass pot, and it's so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. She just I knew she was I just saw it.
I wish we knew their name.
Yes.
I've read so many fan fictions where they call their son Rye, and it drives me up the wall.
Rye, like rye bread.
Ew.
I'm allergic to rye.
Or like people call their daughter Prim, and I'm like, this isn't Harry Potter.
Yeah, let's not talk about a weird epilogue.
It's probably better that they didn't put the names, but yeah, I really wish they knew.
I'm glad that it just means that when you like read the fan fiction, they give them like really cringy names instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really Gracie. I really wanted to see their daughter in the movie. I don't know why. Like I know you can think of the baby as their daughter, but I don't know.
Yeah. Because I feel like they had to do the baby, because how else would you have gotten that internal, like, almost narration from the actual book epilogue, because she was talking to the baby, you know?
Yeah.
I think I was watching the behind the scenes of Mockingjay Part 2, and I watched like the behind the scenes of the epilogue, and I think Jennifer was just like, I want my nephews to do it, and that's how like it basically got done. So
I need to watch this behind the scenes stuff for Part 2.
because they filmed the epilogue like a year after everything else.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like basically, I think they were going to film. They didn't want to film it right at the beginning of the schedule because it just felt too weird. And then when they left Atlanta, they hadn't had a spring, and obviously they wanted it to be like nice weather in the epilogue, so they just went back and filmed it like a year later or something. That's why their wigs look weird in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that the epilogue is like melancholic whilst also being like kind of hopeful at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've seen lots of people be like, he forced her to have kids, and I'm just like, Candace would not take that.
Yeah, I don't believe anyone can force her to do anything.
Exactly. That makes me so upset. Because I feel like the main reason she always said she didn't want to have kids is because she thought the world would always be this way.
Yeah.
And her kids would be thrown in there, especially if she's a victor.
Exactly.
And then I feel like it's completely understandable if, like, many, many years after the world has changed, and she has a romantic partner, like, why not, man? Like, start a family.
She's such a maternal character, like, literally, like, with Prim, with Rue, like, with Iris, like, with everyone, she's like, I'm gonna take care of them. So, like,
yeah.
I don't feel like...
so right.
And like and also like sometimes someone was like, well, she said she didn't want kids when she was 16. I'm like, I said I didn't want kids when I was 16, and I still don't know if I do. I'm more likely to now, and I'm 24. So like, people change their minds in like 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion. I do think it's going to be interesting with the prequel because I feel like we're all on the same page, like with the trilogy and stuff. I'm interested to see like if we're all on the same page with the prequel, or like if we
all love it or if we hate it. Or...
I hope we all love it.
Me too.
I'm gonna be so upset if it's bad. Oh, more plans! Yeah.
More plans!
Wow. Yeah.
What are you doing? Who'd you get that for? Oh, beautiful. It's you. Yeah.
It's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom.
I love the plant.
I love living at home again.
I'm so glad my parents like never come up to the attic. Like the extra flight of stairs just prevents them. They're like, nah.
Well, does anyone have any last things they wanted to say?
I think I've said everything that I needed to say.
We're excited for the next book, and I'm excited for the next live show.
Same. I think the next live show will be fun. I feel like it's going to be long.
I do too.
Wow.
Because it's like new material.
Yeah.
We haven't.
There's also no movie, so like we can't talk about all that too.
Oh yeah, we can.
Yeah. It's gonna be so odd.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I just can't believe we're getting a new one. Like,
I know. I'm gonna be spooked whenever I
get a Twilight book.
I know.
I was just about to say, I was like, what year is this? Like,
I know.
It's the time to be alive right now.
I'm so excited for this too.
I was thinking this earlier. I was like, I find it so fun how like both Stephanie Meyer and Suzanne Collins have made a comeback in 2020, but they're both writing books from these like semi-toxic male perspectives. Like,
true.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Not to like show Edward, but like
I know I'm Team Edward, and I think you're totally valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just find that interesting. I saw a tweet that was really funny actually, and they were like, "Oh, I bet is Suzanne Collins like really disappointed Stephanie Meyer stolen her thunder?" And I was like, "Suzanne Collins is in a cabin somewhere. She doesn't know what's happening."
Yeah,
exactly. She probably has no idea that people are mad.
She's just like living her life.
Peyton's frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, there we
Oh
go.
no.
You're back.
Okay. Well, yeah, next month will be the live show for the new book on Peyton's channel. We will announce whenever we decide the date for that.
It'll
Yeah.
probably be like mid-June, just to give people time to like read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big book.
Yeah. I'm almost like I might even read it twice because I just feel like I'm gonna read it
I know.
time that I'm gonna have to go
So
back.
many books to read. I have so many books to read this
I
book.
do too, but I feel like I'm gonna read it so quickly the first time. I'm not gonna have time to like take notes. Although I might read it slowly. I can't. Like people are like, "Are you gonna read it quick?" I don't know.
Who even knows? I was thinking like read it for the first time, like don't annotate it, and the second one
That's
like
what
write shit in it. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Also, we're all doing a live reading on the 20th of May on Jess's channel. She's Read by Jess on Twitter. No, she's Read by Jess on YouTube. So just so we'll post about it on the Hunger Games readathon Twitter account. But just so you know, if you have the book on the 20th and you want to join in with us reading it, we're not going to be doing spoilers for the new book, but we will be having like Hunger Games chat kind of like this. But like spoilers for the original trilogy, but not the new book. So it should be fun. I'm just gonna be so hard not to be spoilery in that chat.
I know. I'm worried someone's gonna comment something and it's gonna ruin our lives.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about
That's
that.
happened to me too many times.
I might like block that part of my laptop, so I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, not even look at the comments.
Yeah, just like not. Yeah, actually, you can just like look at the private chat bit. So I might just.
True.
Comments.
Yeah.
That's smart. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Just I forgot about that nearly, but we'll be reading it live if you want to see some live reactions.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next month.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Wait a second.